perhaps you're thinking about whether should you do a switch in your portfolio. Maybe you're holding on to a private property, you want to switch to a landed market. Maybe you're holding on to a smaller landed, you want to switch to a bigger landed. I think perhaps you're here tonight to understand what is happening in terms of price trends. And I'm going to focus a lot about pricing. I'm also going to focus about what do we see next year, so that it will help everybody to make a decision, all right? Now, we always like to talk about this chart. The reason is because our notion in terms of understanding the landed market in Singapore is that we believe that this is the hardest form of asset class. What do I mean by hardest form of asset class? Is the sense that when we see an asset category in terms of residential property having a very fixed supply kind of level, this gives us an indicator that this level of asset class is of a different level. That means it's on a level whereby if there's increasing demand, but if the supply do not increase to catch up with the demand, that will mean that the price will grow. And it will accelerate much faster than other forms of residential properties. And of course, we always term landed as Q1 property, meaning that it's meant for high growth, but very low rental yield because the quantum is big. So this is the accumulated chart with all the dotted lines of cooling measures. We have already sort of matured as a country. We are very used to, of course, all the rounds of cooling measures, LTV, ABSD, as well as TDSR. And we are now, I think, in a season whereby most of the buyers are really hunting for own stay. There are, of course, investors in the landed market that buy land to subdivide, to rebuild and sell. But by and large, this gives us an indication that even though we have so many rounds of cooling measures, we are still very stable in terms of price trend. So there again, the hardness of asset move towards the right-hand side, meaning that when we look at landed properties, they have stagnated at 73,000 ever since 2018. There's no more new plots by government. Most of the land, even the increase on a year-by-year basis, is because developer buy big land and subdivide. All right. Condos, apartments, they increase by about 10,000 units per year. So year-on-year GLS, they increase by 10,000 per annum. To sum it up, basically, we are of the notion and methodology that landed remains as the hardest form of residential asset, meaning that when you park your capital inside, is in the sense that because of the fact that there's no more new supply and it doesn't come in fast. So for example, if you compare to countries whereby you buy a landed, but 3 years later when you want to sell, you find that you can only sell back at the same price or lower because the developer next door just launched a brand new landed at the same price that you bought 3 years ago. So it is because they have a lot of land. But when supply is fixed, basically we call it a very inelastic kind of asset class.